Hey gang, this isn't what I was intending to work on, at least not so much today. I was hoping to get to the steering head bearings, recheck them. It's been a while. But the gas light, the low light on the gas gauge was not coming on. The LED, which is up there above the red portion of the gauge. So I was wondering why that is, and the gas gauge itself, you do not twist it as it says on the cap. You really just lift it straight up, just wiggle it side to side, kind of in this motion, just wiggle it a little bit as you're pulling up, and it's got these plastic clips around the sides here that will let go of these grooves. And it will just pop up after a second. Now there's only so much wire to go when you pop that up. So what that means is you've got to come down here underneath the tank, all right? And there's this metal pipe, okay? There's a metal pipe right here that comes out of the gas tank, and that's what the wire goes up through. And so it's like a straw, like a tube that goes up through the gas tank to this upper cup where the gas gauge is located, and it connects to this connector right here. So you need to disconnect these two, slide the wire up through there as far as you can, and that is actually these two right here. The black and orange wires are the power and ground wires that go to the fuel gauge. Then there's this pinkish red wire that looks like it goes to the sending unit because it's isolated from the ground. There's a ground wire that's a short black jumper that goes to the gas tank itself. So that's pretty much it. 4 wires. It's a 4-wire system. Didn't expect to see all this corrosion in here, so obviously rainwater gets in here and settles down in the bottom. I don't know where else it's supposed to go except down that tube by the looks that the wires go down through. It looks like that's the only option for it to drain, so I guess that's something to keep in mind. And in case any of you have had this gas gauge off and forgot what wires go where, the pink one goes into the sender. There's a ground jumper to the ground inside the tank receptacle in there, the gas gauge receptacle. There's the orange and black wires that come up through. The ground wires go into the center, both of them. Red wire goes, I've taken out the illumination bulb, the gauge bulb right there, to try to look inside. Orange goes down to the bottom to those two, that's power. And again, the red one is the sending unit that comes from the gas gauge float level inside the tank. So that's how they're hooked up. I might even take mine apart just so I can get a better look at it. Anyway, I've drained the gas out of the tank using the crossover tube in the front, and so it should be reading, the gas light should be on saying, hey, you know, get to a gas station. Don't go by the next station. Stop. Okay, I know it's not a great angle to see this, but you can see the gas low light is on. If I take the center ground stud, put the socket on it, see it just went out. But if I turn it just a little bit side to side, light comes on, goes out, oh, goes out, comes on. Okay, I'm turning it now to tighten, goes out, loosen, it's on, tighten, goes out. So I think there's a loose connection to the ground, to that LED low light bulb, and what I'm going to try to do is find a happy medium, maybe right there, where it's got a good connection and it will work. Because I don't want to drive down the road expecting it to come on and it doesn't come on, and that's what's been happening. So We'll see if that fixes it. Seems to be a bad center stud on the ground wire connection somewhere inside. I tried to take the gauge apart, and it does not appear to be a something you can take apart and rebuild it, check any of the connections inside. So we'll just have to live with it. Maybe this will cure it, we'll see. If not, I'd hate to, but might be time to get a different gas gauge. So I guess we can chalk that up to some kind of loose connection on that ground terminal inside the gas gauge itself. And don't forget, when you put it back in, to pull the fuel gauge wires back down through the tank right here, okay, at this tube. Sorry if you can't see it well. And right next to this tube where the wires come out, there's a metal clip right here on the bottom of the tank, and that's what the wire has to go through. And then the actual connector is tucked up inside on the bottom of the gas tank. Okay, it's kind of hidden out of view, but that's how that should look when you're all said and done messing around with the fuel gauge. Thanks a lot, Harley Davidson, for making a fuel gauge that cuts in and out.